Hi everyone, here we've got two phones to talk about. What can I say? The purple one, or pinky purple one, I got many years ago. This was, I think, more or less when the boot sale started up at Wimbledon. So yeah, I'm going back a few years. This one happened to turn up and was greatly received and grabbed. I don't know how much I paid for it at the time, but it was, as far as I can remember, quite reasonable. Later I got a mate for it. Now you'd think these two phones were made by the same company, but you'd be wrong. The first one I got, as I say, from the boot sale at Wimbledon, was this one made by Albiswerk. I can see if I can get a picture of it a bit closer. I do tend to stretch the capability of this video camera to extremes, but I think there's the actual name, Albiswerk. I think they were a branch of Siemens. There was certainly a connection there. Yeah, quite a nice phone actually. Notice the braided type. I say braided, it's the way the braided cables used to be, but this is in obviously a plastic coating. The handset itself is fairly heavy, well made. I won't take it apart. At the ends, and try and put it right way round. Well, that's how the phone looks. We'll have a little look on the underside, but before we do that, let's have a look at this other phone, which you would say is identical to the one just shown. It is similar, more than similar, but there are slight differences. The handset, for a start, is nowhere near as heavy. It's still fairly heavy. Looks the same. The earpiece and that, they're virtually the same. This one's got a little grill with several holes rather than the one hole. Standard type cord, black twisty cord. Not a sort of a woven cord like that one is. Well, it's not woven, it's pleated, is it? That the word? I don't know, you'll know the name of it. It's like the old phones were here in England many years ago. I can remember them. Anyhow, have a look at this phone. Turn them round and see if I can take a picture of the name. The name is in the same place. Exactly the same place. There's the name, Iskra. Iskra was quite a well-known firm. The name, in fact, means spark. Iskra, translated, means spark. And I believe they were taken over. They had taken over this design. As I say, the phones are almost the same. I haven't taken the dials out. I'll leave those in, but I have taken the bottom plate off. Now let's have a little look. Turning it round, we can see just what is inside. I'll turn the other one round as well. You get an idea of both. Oh well, we show the two there side by side. Almost the same. The bell in both cases is unusual. You've got your gongs, one inside the other, and the little hammer strikes them both nice and neatly. This one's the same. Bell is positioned in a different spot, as you can see, and are a slightly different design. In fact, totally different design, if I'm honest. This is the dial of the Albiswerk, not the normal type of bell, but needless to say it did the job. This one, going back to the Iskra, is more of a standard type bell with twin coils, and you've got a magnet which is in the centre part here. There's a magnet there, and the clapper on the other one works as well. They both work fine. Now then, I've had a bit of a mix here. I'm trying to find something, but I don't know where it is. It must be underneath. What I'm referring to is the induction coil. We've got the coil of the bell, I think I might have worked it out. There's several windings on this bell coil, and I would suggest that the bell coil also incorporates the anti-side tone induction coil, all wound on the same core but different windings. I suppose it makes sense, because once the bell's rang and you've answered it, you're not really worried about that coil because it's done its job. So you've got space for the other coils to act as the side tone. So yeah, they've cut down one coil, or one coil assembly. So you've just got the one which operates the bell and the induction coil. Looking at the other side, you've got your capacitor. It's a square one, which is a little bit unusual. As I say, I'm not going to take it down further than I have. Under there, you've got your, as you put the receiver back, I can't really show it very well. Anyhow, let's go back to the Iskra. You've got your set of contacts up there. They're more or less the same. Your wiring diagram, similar. It is similar. You've got your line coming in both cases, and the line going out to your handset. This is nicely done. The dial must be terminated on the Albiswerk inside. It's not, you can't see, but on the Iskra the dial leads are connected there. The induction coil is that coil there. I've mentioned the bell, it's twin coil, which is more like the British type of bells, and the capacitor is normal cylinder type, circular. Mind you, square capacitors were used years ago, and on a lot of exchange equipment the capacitors were in fact square or oval shape. Anyhow, that is more or less all on the innards. Let's just have a quick look at the diagram. Now, this is the back of the Iskra, and there's a diagram there which is printed on the actual back. I don't even see it that well. Be careful with wiping it off. I don't want to wipe it off and remove the actual printing. But there's your diagram. I'm hoping it will show up better when you view the actual video. And further down you've got your holes that let the sound of the bell out, and the bell adjuster is that part there, which is moved across and prevents the bell ringing or reduces the bell. Looking at other side, that is what we have. That's the actual adjuster. I don't know what this refers to. This was on this phone when I got it. So if someone knows what that is, whether it's a type number, I don't know. I left it on. It's obviously continental writing. We've got a number also in the middle. Both backs are held on the same way. You hook that under in there, and the screw, which is captive, you screw back in there. Now let's have a look at the Albiswerk. Here we've got a much neater diagram. Well, it's probably, I say neater, it's easier to read. There's the diagram. Also gives the model numbers. Same idea with the ringer control, as the ringer in both cases are in different positions. Obviously the idea of the adjuster is in different places. Those two little lugs there hitch over the hammer of the bell and you reduce the sound. Whether, I'm just looking on there, see if it shows you the actual bell coils. Yeah. There's the bell coils there. You got your, there's a coil there, there's a coil there. Now that coil is obviously the one that operates the bell, I would think. Was that 6 and 7? Not too sure. But anyhow, what I'm sure is the windings are all on the same core. It looks quite a neat little diagram. Anyhow, to stop me going on, I'm going to end this little talk with these ones. Trying to think of anything has happened which I could mention. I'm still waiting. No, it will obviously be a few days, but I ordered that Israeli phone, and also looking at another site in America. They were talking about the type of phone that I put up there from Israel, the 746, and the one they showed is, I wouldn't say crappy, but it was obviously modified inside. You had a tone ringer, the old bell arrangement had been removed. It looked totally different. The circuit board was different. The only thing that looked the same was when the cover was put on, it did look like a 746. no adjuster for the bell sounds because it's a tone ringer. It looked like it had been completely revamped, so I'm rather pleased I got the one that I did get, that was of the GPO type. Anyhow, that's all for this time. I will say it's still cold out, so I haven't been down to have a look at the plants. Apologies for that. I know a lot of you are probably waiting for this. I'm more or less waiting for when the weather gets better and the plants start to grow and put out the odd flower. Anyhow, I'm going to stop talking now. I've been talking far too long. As I say, I hope you haven't dropped asleep, but you might have done. Anyhow, once again, many thanks. This is of the Iskra, meaning a spark, and the Albiswerk from Switzerland. I think the Iskra's from Holland. Not Holland, Hungary. I'll get it right in a minute. From Hungary. So any information on that, please give. And once again, many thanks. And I'm clearing down for this one. Thank you again. Thank you.